Greetings, this is Kevin Jefferson, founder of the Forex Fam and followmytrades.com, here with Trade Theory for Tuesday, February 15th, 2022. So we're going to start with gold today. We have an interesting development on the weekly charts with gold. So as I had mentioned and have been mentioning previously, gold has been trending upwards, but mostly it's been consolidating essentially side to side. We have a major move to where on the weekly chart to where gold is looking like it's prepared to continue to increase in value relative to the United States dollar. And on the daily chart, we are back in what we call an uptrend. So expecting price to move higher. We're going to pull back off of that. And on the lower time frames, you may, if you're looking to short, you can maybe find a couple of short opportunities here in the interim. But clearly, the gold versus the dollar has set itself up to rise. So now I'm eyeing the target that I previously mentioned, 1950.11, to see how high it goes. Now, I will say that being that it's taken so long to rise, it may blow through that 1950.11, but 1950.11 is my first target point, and then we'll reassess gold versus the USD after that. Now, back on Bitcoin, this is also interesting. So this is a 4-hour chart, and price is showing it's actually officially in an uptrend right now. It's pulled back off of an uptrend on the 4-hour. If I go out to the weekly, price has not closed above that level that I mentioned in the previous video, 43,281.50. That's still the closing price that I'm looking for Bitcoin to close within or above by the end of this week. So if Bitcoin closes above that number at the end of business on Friday, then that to me indicates that there's a significant uptrend or there's actually potential for a sustained uptrend on Bitcoin. Now, with that said, I want to also emphasize that if price does close above the 43,281.50 level, and we established that, it doesn't mean the price will continue to go straight up. It may pull back and retrace and gather orders and then move higher. Or it may do that, move higher for a couple of weeks and then pull back and then give you another opportunity to enter off of the pullback. So just be mindful that it's not about just jumping into a trade once something happens. It's really understanding the confluence of events and understanding where you are so that you can actually profit. So on the daily chart here, we've been in a level 1 long, a level 2 long, because actually it reversed and turned long down here, which was the indication that price was reversing. So this is the pullback off of what I call a level 2 long here. And on the daily charts, price is kind of hovering in this area. So with that being said, I think it's solidifying a strong upward move. It may take another day or two or maybe 3 to finally push higher, but I'm definitely looking at Bitcoin to rise versus the dollar. Now, what's interesting about this is that gold is rising versus the dollar. Bitcoin is rising versus the dollar. And a lot of people wouldn't think that it really matters that each currency or each asset is independent. But a lot of the times, from a sentiment and a psychological standpoint, the assets will portray a certain perception of the market. So when I look at gold and seeing it rise against the dollar, that means that there's risk or perceived risk associated with the USD, especially when I see that Bitcoin, which is definitely a high risk or speculative asset, when I see that rising versus the USD at the same time, that lets me know that the USD is the focal point and maybe the issue. So that's, when you have decoupling from a psychological risk standpoint, where gold, as I've always mentioned, gold represents a flight to safety. Bitcoin clearly represents more of a flight to speculative behavior or more aggressive returns. And so when both of those are rising versus the dollar, then they're pricing in some risk that is not yet been realized. So maybe with the current not the political events, the current political and military events that are happening overseas in Eastern Europe and in Russia and so on and so forth, that may be playing out right now until we have some definitive understanding of how all of that's going to play out. So in those cases, people are kind of shedding the dollar, taking positions in other places, other asset classes to store value, and then once things clarify, you'll see moves that are more appropriate for inversely correlated asset classes. So not to get too deep and too detailed on it, but the bottom line is I'm still in my buy trade for Bitcoin. I'm expecting it to rise up to around the between 58 and 60,000 level over the next couple of weeks. And then gold, I'm looking for that to rise over the next week or two to the 1950-11 level. So we'll watch for that. But if you want to learn how to trade, if you want to learn as a DIY, do-it-yourself trader, where we can teach you how to build cash flow for yourself using my method, my proprietary PPC 13 method, so that you can create cash flow to handle your life's needs or to get more of your time back, find us at fmtrades.com. Now, let's say that you want to learn, but you don't necessarily have the time to learn a new skill set right now. You may not have the bandwidth, or you may not have just the capacity right now for whatever reason to take this on as a new venture. We have what's called the DFY option, which it includes learning how to trade so that you can learn how to fish for yourself. But it also includes attaching an account to one of ours so that we can actually help you in copy trades into your account for you so that we can help you earn while you learn. So if that's interesting to you, go to fmtrades.com, click DFY. A lot of business owners and successful professionals actually use that service because although they're making significant money each and every month, they realize that they don't have the ability to recreate time. And so what we offer is a way to leverage your time and create cash flow for yourself without putting yourself into what I call time-based slavery. So if that's interesting to you, find us on fmtrades.com. And until the next trade theory, I hope you have a wonderful day. And as I always say, happy trading.